Hey everyone, happy Wednesday and happy almost Passover for those of you that are celebrating. And let me remind you that there's a brand new Women's World that's coming out, I think this week, and it's got a picture of Ree Drummond on the cover. It's called Easter Joy, so happy upcoming Easter very soon to all of those of you that are celebrating Easter. The cover story is about my radical longevity plan, my 5-day reset, and it features one of our radical longevity power players, Tracy, whose picture is in Women's World. So when it comes out on the stands, you grab it. I'm so happy that Women's World has been so very respectful, so supportive, so attentive to my work over the past 25, 30 years. Many of you have come to me through Women's World or First for Women. So if in fact you're here because of Women's World or First for Women, just give me a thumbs up. I'd like Carol Brooks, the esteemed publisher-in-chief, to know all that, especially her, as well as Melissa Sorrells, Melissa Gothard, and Allison Nemitz. There's so many of you that have been so very helpful to me during my career, and I'm very grateful. So having said that, we're going to plunge right into some of our questions. I've been doing a lot of promotion for my book, Radical Longevity, so if you haven't grabbed your 3 free downloads, go to radicallongevitybook.com. Grab those downloads. They're so helpful for you in terms of all the testing that you can do now, free of charge, to test your adrenals, to test your cell acidity, to test your transit time, to test your thyroid. All of these things are for you to really put into play right now. And just remember that the mouth, which I talk about in one of my downloads, which is the dental hidden infections, is really the gateway to your system. Everybody says it's the gut, but where do you think the gut bacteria is coming from? Much of it is coming from the mouth, whether it's gingivitis, problems with gum infections, problems with infected teeth, problems with root canals, or problems with teeth that have been extracted but not properly. So you've got to get to a proper dentist if you have all kinds of unresolved problems, particularly rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and if you have any type of diabetes situation that has just popped up out of nowhere. So the mouth is the root of all ill health and good health. And I, of all people, should know because I have dental karma, major dental karma. Okay, on to bigger and better things. I have a sample here of a particular salt that I've talked to you about, and it's my Himalaya sulfur-rich black salt. And the reason this is so good is it's very, very high in sulfur. Sulfur is the most efficient mineral we have. Everybody thinks it's silica, people think it's magnesium, maybe calcium, some people have said boron. No, 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 it is sulfur. So if you want good skin, if you want good hair, if you want strong ligaments and tendons and joints, get these some sulfur. Now this tastes terrible. So what I do, instead of using it as salt, I take a 1/4 teaspoon in the morning with 8 ounces of water, first thing in the morning, and I take it mid-afternoon. And then I think it's like liquid garlic. And what I find is that my hair has grown twice as long as it usually does, twice as quickly as it usually does. I have to get it cut now every 3 weeks. My nails are as strong as steel, and my skin texture has improved greatly. Many of you always ask me what I do for my skin, and this is one of the most important things that I've added to my regimen. So it's a 1/4 teaspoon twice daily for the sulfur. You get it through Nutridyne, nutridyne.com, and you can get it using my particular practitioner code, which is 704493. So it's nutridyne.com 704493. It is a particular website that only services practitioners, but you can order anything you want using my code. Again, it is 704493. The other product I'm always asked about is collagen. Now I actually test collagens. I tested on a determination board that I learned about through my mentor, Dr. Parcells, whom I credit for the writing of my book, Radical Longevity. All of her secrets, she lived till the age of 106, are buried within this book here. And I measure collagen products. I've measured every single one on the market. The liquid ones, the powdered ones, the encapsulated ones, everything on the market. The highest, most purest collagen that I found is also from Nutridyne. It's called Dynamic Multi-Collagen Renew, collagen peptides to support skin, bones, and joints. So my secret to good skin since writing my book is this particular collagen and this sulfur-rich Himalaya salt that I get from Nutridyne.com. And again, use my code number, which one more time is 704493. Now, I've been exceedingly busy doing promotion for my new book. You know, writing the book is easy. It's the promotion, it's the marketing, it's doing the podcast, it's doing the interviews, it's getting up at 6 in the morning, making sure that the publicist sends out all the galley copies. All of that is what takes all of our time. The book comes out May 11th, but you can pre-order it right now with those 3 free downloads. One of the best interviews that I did has just been published. It's been published in a particular newsletter called Health Radar. And I want to take the Health Radar and take some of the keynotes of this particular article, which was written by my good friend Gary Greenberg, to tell you how to live longer with 20 guidelines for food and medicine. So the title of the article, credit goes to Gary Greenberg and Health Radar, is Live Longer with these 20 guidelines as food is medicine. And the number one is get in tune with your body. Number 1, get in tune with your body. Now the best way to do that is to eat according to the seasons. Personally, my friends, I don't believe in keto 100% of the time. I don't believe in fasting 100% of the time. I don't believe in veganism 100% of the time, nor do I believe in juices 100% of the time. I believe that if you're in a cold environment, you have to eat food to heat your body. If you're in a warm environment, you need foods to cool your body. That's where you get colder foods and salads and raw fruits and vegetables and juices. I'm also a believer that you need to change your diet as you're getting older and perhaps getting into the saging course of life, so to speak. And that means that a couple of days a week you can do some intermittent fasting, another day or 2 a week have a diet that's higher in fat, but by all means have a diet that's high in plant-based foods. So get in tune with your body. One man's meat is another man's poison. If you're a type O blood, you need more protein. Type A bloods need hydrochloric acid. Type B bloods, like me, B positive, need something for our adrenals. We get overstressed with the least little thing. It's just our makeup. And A, B is a combination of the best of all worlds. So they need digestive function assistance and coping mechanisms for stress. So that's number 1. Get in tune with your body. Number 2 is eat mostly plants. Don't you all agree? Eat mostly plants. Why are you going to eat mostly plants? You're going to eat mostly plant fats, not necessarily plant foods 100% of the time, but plant fats are very low in advanced glycation end products. The best plant fats for you are extra virgin olive oil, very high in polyphenols, which feed the skinny bacteria. 1 to 2 tablespoons a day keeps gray hair and wrinkles away. Hemp seed oil keeps radiation away and is very good for the skin texture and moisturization of the skin. Flaxseed oil and fish oil for your joints, your hair, and your nails. All of those are considered the essential fatty acids. I'm in love with them. You should be too. Be very careful with avocado oil because in this day and time it can be cut with canola oil. We want to say goodbye to canola oil, most palm oils we want to say goodbye to, and of course margarine and hydrogenated soy. Grapeseed oil, I think it's fair to say I'm kind of on the fence with that. If you can get a healthy source of it, it's a very good source of essential fatty acids. So the good omega-6s come in CLA, GLA, and they're found in black currant seed oil, they're found in evening primrose oil, they're found in conjugated linoleic acid. Mostly plants, especially plant fats. Number 3, according to Gary Greenberg, eat less animal protein. Now, I'm not necessarily in favor of that. I think as you grow older, you need more protein, not less. You need at least 100 grams of protein per day past the age of 65. 100 grams of protein per day. Now, the issue with protein and animal protein is not that you're getting too much protein into your system, which is not good for your kidneys, which may be true if you have a kidney disorder, but it's because animal proteins are high in iron. So if you're going to be concerned about iron, that you make sure that you take something with those animal proteins that acts as an iron blocker. So whenever you have a little bit of beef or a little bit of lamb, Those are particularly the highest heme iron protein-based foods. You should be drinking a little bit of red wine. 1 to 2 ounces per meal is fine if it's organic, glyphosate and GMO free. You could also be taking a little bit of coffee, a little bit of tea, perhaps some herbal tea. Those are all wonderful iron blockers. The healthiest societies in the world eat moderate meat. They eat moderate red meat, but they also take a lot of iron blockers natively in the foods that they're eating. Whether it's a little bit of yogurt, which is an iron blocker, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of tea. Next is drink water in small doses. So a lot of people are chronically dehydrated because they're taking large amounts of water all at one time. You want to take at least 4 ounces of water every 1/2 hour, so you're not taking too much too quickly, which doesn't saturate the tissues. Number 5 in the 20 best tips for a long and healthy life. Feed your microorganisms. Number 5, feed your microorganisms. So you want to feed your microbiome. You want to take some of the prebiotics that you can find in a wonderful crunchy vegetable known as jicama. You want to take a little bit of whey, which is a prebiotic. Inulin, whey, and I'm a big believer in taking a little yogurt if you can tolerate it on a daily basis. So I'm loving all those things for your microbiome, which is your second immune system. Very important that it feeds the beneficial bacteria, and that's where all the polyphenols and all the vegetable foods that we mentioned previously come into play, especially olive oil and coffee, believe it or not. Number 7 is avoid white foods. We're going to avoid the white grains. We're going to avoid white sugar. We're going to avoid a lot of potatoes. Or really, should we avoid potatoes? Because number 8 is don't shun potatoes. So, unless you have a nightshade allergy, then I suggest that a little potato per day will keep your blood pressure at bay because it's a very high source of absorbable potassium. Now, in order for you to get the best use out of your potato, you should cook them and then chill the potato before consuming, which will raise levels of resistant starch, a very helpful prebiotic. So cook the potato and then chill it. Now, I think the potatoes are here to stay. If you have a potato and have a little bit of Greek yogurt that you put on it, or coconut yogurt, or a little coconut oil, I think that's the best way to enjoy your potatoes. But don't fry them, don't have your spuds, don't put a lot of bacon on them, for God's sakes, or too much sour cream or cheese. Those are very high in advanced glycation end products that will make you old before your time. Number 9, which we can all agree with, is going organic. We want to eat organic food as much as possible so that you're not ingesting any kind of pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides. Bathing your food in a little bit of Clorox, which I've taught you about for years, could be very important in making sure that you buy non-GMO as much as possible. Number 10 is choose good fats. So the best fats, again, what are they? They're olive oil, they're coconut oil, they're macadamia nut oil. If you're going to cook, you could actually use a little macadamia nut oil because that's a very high smoking point. The best nuts under the sun are macadamia nuts. Not all this almond stuff that you're all eating. Almond flour, almond butter. Half of that stuff is rancid because much of the oil is polyunsaturated. You want a monounsaturated nut that you have on a daily basis. I'm also in love with Brazil nuts. So for the selenium, Brazil nuts. For the monounsaturates, you want the macadamia nuts. They used to be Dr. Atkins' favorite nut of all time, and I use that as a flour. I coat my fish, I coat my chicken, and sometimes I've even coated other types of seafood with a little macadamia nut flour. So macadamia nuts are here to stay, and they will keep your skin very, very shiny, very beautiful. And they will also keep you nice and slim because you're easily able to fill up on the good and satisfying, satiating fats. Number 12 is spice it up. So spices are the most important elements of antioxidants. They're very concentrated. The best spices that you have not really heard a lot about but need to happen to be thyme, which is antiviral. So I'm putting thyme on my chicken, I'm putting it on my fish. I just had some chicken salad which was loaded with thyme. I use rosemary, which is an antioxidant rich spice. Rosemary for remembrance, good for the memory. The other spice is cumin and cardamom and cinnamon. All of those are exceedingly helpful. I use fennel tea because it debloats the stomach. 2 tablespoons of fennel tea a day keeps the bloat away. So the best way to use your spices is to get a mortar and pestle, to grind the spice so the volatile oils come out of that spice, and you can use it daily even as a tea or as a seasoning for all of your foods. Your fruits, yes, your fruits and vegetables. I love cardamom with peaches, for example. Number 13, pair up pepper. If you're going to be using pepper, which I don't recommend by itself, use it with a little turmeric because it expands the use, it magnifies the use of the therapeutic use of turmeric or curcumin. Number 14, we're going very quickly here. Eat sprouts. The best sprout for you on your salads would be the broccoli sprouts because they're very high in glutathione. So the broccoli sprouts are my favorite. Clover sprouts are another one. Sunflower seed sprouts, they're very high in enzymes. We need a lot of enzymes if you're eating a lot of cooked foods in the wintertime. So sprouts are here to stay, high in those cofactors for minerals, which are known as enzymes that many people cook away. Number 15, top salads with eggs. Eggs are nutrient dense. We now know that the cholesterol in eggs do not affect the cholesterol in your bloodstream. Eggs, especially those that are from cage-free hens, are very high in omega-3s, very high in choline, which is good for the brain, which can prevent Alzheimer's. 2 eggs a day keeps cholesterol at bay. So a lot of the studies have now shown that at least 2 eggs a day is actually healthy for your system and will bring down your cholesterol. Number 16, eat it raw because cooking can degrade enzymes. So if you're going to eat something raw, eat the fruit raw. Eat a pear a day. Eat a half a cup of berries for all their phytonutrients. My favorite is blackberries, very high in phytonutrients. Half a cup of blueberries, half a cup of boysenberries, half a cup of huckleberries. If you come to our area of the world, you'll start enjoying huckleberries, which is a kind of wild blueberry. They're very high in these pigments that are not found in other fruits and vegetables, and they're good to keep Alzheimer's at bay. The 3 most important things to keep Alzheimer's at bay are the 3 B's. Berries like blueberries, broccoli, and the third one is going to be beets. So the 3 B's a day keeps Alzheimer's away, which includes those lovely little berries. Number 17 is cook it, but if you're going to cook it, because it makes certain nutrients more bioavailable, especially carrots, do not use high and dry heat. Because if you're grilling, roasting, broiling, or browning, you've actually killed the living energy of the food. So you want to steam, you want to braise, you want to soup, you want a low cook, you want low moisture heat. You don't want high and dry heat. So throw away your air fryer, but use your Instapot because it's a good little steamer. Number 18, have a vinegar aperitif. Vinegar neutralizes the enzyme that processes sugar. It'll be very good for your system in terms of kind of tamping up some hydrogen hydrogen, some HCl, hydrochloric acid. I haven't slept because I'm promoting so many books these days. You'll have to excuse me. But it is HCl. Vinegar helps HCl. It's also very good because it slows down the absorption of carbohydrates in your system. Good because it's an enzyme-rich aperitif, and very good because it's a bitter to your system and high in potassium that many of you are lacking, which is why we're so tight. Our muscles get very tight. Number 19, take a break from eating. Calorie reduction is very important and increases the ability for your body to cellular cleanse. So intermittent fasting, I'm all in favor of, unless you are a hyperactive, as I am, hypoglycemic. So that means that you're responding to a low blood sugar prompt in your system. So you have to eat a little bit more frequently and not have those fasting windows so long. But it's very, very healthy for those of us that want to stay healthier longer, live better, live into the age of saging rather than aging. And then number 20 is take a genetic test. I think it's really helpful to kind of know what genes you've been dealt with in life, but I also believe that your biology is not your biography. And if you use all the good tips and tricks that we teach you in Radical Longevity, you can overcome anything. Just know that we live in a day of toxic overload. So the more that you can detoxify your system and get rid of the massive accumulation of toxicities and deficiencies, the younger that you're going to be, and the more you're going to get rid of all of your autoimmune illnesses, which you become more vulnerable to, the more toxic you become. So on that note, if there are any questions, just pop them into this particular thread. Know that I care about all of you very much. I want you to pick up Radical Longevity. Go to radicallongevitybook.com today. Pick up your 3 free downloads. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Happy holidays.